Hello, everybody. My name is Dan. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar. Today's webinar will be how UnForm helps you manage change for QAD users or users of QAD. There are three main causes or major causes of change. First, there are acts of God: fire, flood, earthquake, and COVID-19. The second is disruptions of the market, such as shortages, distribution issues, labor concerns, and capital issues. Lastly, are tectonic or dynamic shifts in the market. Those are new materials, new manufacturing processes, evolution in products. Those are some. There are a lot more dynamic shifts. And UnForm has a unique pedigree. When things are changing, there are two things you need more of: time and information. UnForm Document Management was built to help manage time and information. Let's look at how UnForm works. From QAD, documents are sent to the UnForm server. Then the UnForm server puts index values on them and sends them to the archive. At the same time, they email them or print them, depending on the needs of that document. We also have something called Sears Print. I don't want to go into depth into Sears Print, but I want to say that Sears Print is a network and cloud printing solution. It allows you to print or send data to a targeted device anywhere, whether it be next to you in your office, across the street in another building, in another city, in another country, anywhere. As long as it's a targeted device, you can send data to it. You can send documents to it. So we know how to get documents from QAD. The second way we get documents is from scanned and emailed attachments. We monitor an inbound source. For scans, there are folders on the network, and they can be multiple folders because you could have scanners in different locations scanning to multiple folders. And then we can pick them up, and emails come in, email folders that are targeted folders. So you could have accounts payable at synergeticdatasystems.com, and that would be the targeted folder. So when an email lands there, we pick it up, and the image manager extracts data from it, builds index values so that it can be sent to the archive. It extracts line item detail so it can be sent along with the data and the document to DocFlows. And what DocFlow is, DocFlow allows you to manage and approve workflows. At the same time, we can also do signature capture, electronic signature capture from the DocFlow, so you can sign off on it. And lastly, all that stuff, all that data, all the line item detail data, once approved, gets passed back into QAD. So that's the sort of the cycle of how things work. Let's pause this and let's go look at the actual application. So I'm in Chrome. You can go to Edge, you can go to Outlook, or not Outlook, but Firefox. But in this case, I'm in Chrome. I have Archive. I have all the different applications up here. I have support and other areas down here. Now I'm a super user, so I get to see everything. Let's say I'm a salesperson, right? All I need to see is what's incoming and outgoing out of sales. So I can, if I was a salesperson, all I would see is archiving. If I was the account payable clerk, right, maybe I would only see image manager and archiving because I need to send stuff to make sure that stuff gets uploaded. I'm going to show you the archiving in just a moment. But again, a super user gets to see the works. So speaking of image manager, let's go there first. Okay, this is the landing page. This is the home page for Image Manager, which is our scanning indexing tool. Now, as I said, documents are sent to folders. So a scanned document gets sent to a folder. An email document gets picked out from emails, inbound email sources, and are processed. In this case, we have 3 different documents. They came in through folders because they were scans. And the first 2 have check boxes on them. These are ready to upload. Now, 95% of the automation is turned off for this demonstration. If it wasn't turned off, all there would be is this one that's not ready. And we wanted to be able to show you what's it all about. So when I click here and I bring this up, I can see that we have the document itself. I see that we have the total here, all the different items. I have calculations, and I have a, this is a CSV or XML display that shows what the line items details are, and they can be processed, and we know it's ready to go because there's no red lines. On this one here, this one is the one that failed, and it's because this is a duplicate value. Now, you may want duplicate values. You may want a duplicate value from time to time. This is a toggle switch. You can turn it off and on. You have to be an admin person to turn it off, but it can be set up so a specific type of document allows for duplications. If you're running contracts, you may want to have a duplicate contract pass through, but you don't want to be able to pass the line item detail twice to QAD, because now you've doubled your amount of payables without actually receiving anything more. So I could actually come in here and I could take this value and I could edit it. And I could go like so, and then I could save it. And now it's ready to upload. When I close this, it's checkbox. So now all I would have to do is to release it, and it would go into archive. But by doing this, by being able to extract the line item detail out of these documents, like we did, what we've done is we've saved time. Nobody has to 10 key, has to manually enter them into QAD. It's all done automatically. If it can't read something, it will show an error, and it will show over here where that error is. It couldn't read a value. That will save you time. That will save you money, and that's important. The next thing I'd like to show you is how we look for documents and search for documents and review documents and bring documents together. And that's in our archive. I talked about archive before. Archive is our storage mechanism. Now, this can be cloud-based. This is browser. All this application is browser-based, but it can be in the cloud or it can be on-prem, on your premise. We don't care where the server is. We just use a browser to go find it. So the first way we look for documents is called OneSearch, or One. And that's you. Let's say you have an accounts receivable clerk, and she gets a call, or he gets a call from a customer, and the customer says, I have a statement here. It has an invoice. I don't have a copy of that invoice. And you go, okay, what's the invoice number? It's 5136. You go like so, you press the button. There are now 3 documents. We have a copy of the invoice itself, and we have a copy of the invoice that's signed or proof of delivery. You can say, would you like one, both, one or the other, or both? If they say both, you mark those, right? And then you come up to marked images, you highlight them, and you say email. And if they're in your system, you can select who they are, and you can say, here you go. And you say send. And literally before you know it, they are there. And anyway, they are there, and I can open up, see those are those 2 documents. Here is the signed proof of delivery. I signed that with my mouse, can you tell? Anyway, here's that signed proof of delivery, and Anyway, I go back and you can actually see the actual invoice itself. So we have both documents, and so now they don't have an excuse or reason not to pay you. Moving on, the next way we can search is by browse. So let's say I'm browsing, I'm looking for a purchase order, and I want to find this Harvest Mills. I'm looking for this Harvest Mills purchase order. I can bring it up. I can view it. At the same time, I can see, has it been processed? This has gone out. Does it have any related documents? There are no related documents here. If there were, they would be there. I could view them. I would actually see them side by side like I saw them before. So that way we can look through. If we're looking for a specific thing in a big stack, we can do it that way. The last way is if we have one piece of data about a document. Maybe it's part of a name. We don't remember where it is, or maybe we have, and we want to look across multiple libraries, and I want to look for the term PVC, and I do run. Now I'm going to get a big list, but oh yeah, here it is, and it's Bunny Rabbit Farms. That's the document I want. That was the document that we had duplicates in before. So here it is. So we have, as before, and I didn't tell you this before, but as before, it has 5 pages of data. It's 5-page document. The last page is terms and conditions. And as far as indexing values, we don't need that, so we're not going to search across it. So I can do a Control F command, type in PVC, and it will tell me that across the 5 pages, I'm going down, I'm on the 2nd page already. I'm on the 3rd page, and just keep going right straight through. All the places in green or in this color here that are highlighted are the pages that have that value in there. So I can search not only for a specific value within a document, I can search for that document itself. So there are 3 different separate unique ways I can search for documents. Now with the search tool itself, there are lots of things I can do. That's not what I want to do. I want to do new search. I can search by dates. I can search by keywords, which I did a keyword search, but when it's keywords, you have to separate each of the words. I can search by category, doc type, and fields. So there's a lot of different ways to, as I say, to open that onion up, but we can do them all. And again, I've already shown you marked documents, so you're going to, or marked images, so you're going to want to remember that again. I'm going to go into doc flow, and we have several doc flows here. And we don't care how many doc flows you set up. The way all we care about is the amount of named users that use the doc flow. So in this case, I've had this set up so it's view by date or by due. So the red means it's 1 day past due. The purple means I've got 1+ day, and I'm 15 days out, so I'm a ways out. So that's in the green. And Vicki always likes to remind people that she really likes the color coding because it makes it easier to read, and she's absolutely right. So here we have, I'm clicking on the very first one, and it's the document, and it's for Ichiko. And it's a bunch of ovens and mixers and stuff like that, and it's $350,000 and change, right? It's a big order, and so I have multiple, in this doc flow, I'm in the accounting department, the accounting clerk department, and so I'm prepping this to make sure it's all ready. And I can come up here and I can say, okay, I can see that I've received all the other documents. And I remember that multi-view, anytime you see the word multi-view or the 3 vertical bars, then you can bring up multi-view. So I can bring them all up and view them by twos. I can see here's the invoice, here's the purchase order, the receipt, the packing slip, and the bill. So I can bring this up by twos, and I can even magnify a little bit if I want to see exactly if the price agrees and the quantity is 10 and the purchase order was for Looks like the same amount. 5 and 5 is 10, and the amount is the same. So we know that the purchase order meets the total of the invoice. So this looks like it's good to go. So I can go to actions, and I can say, okay, I want to approve this, right? So I want to approve this. Now, if it went to the controller, if it's under, well, anyway, we just, all we do is down here it tells us what the action is right now, whose desk and who's looking at it, and what their step is. When I hit the forward, takes a moment, it's now going to the controller for approval. And now it's in the controller's hand. And that controller can look at any of the notes, right? And say, well, there's help, but it looks good to me because I went back through and looked at everything else. I did the match. It looks good. Everything looks good. It's a lot of money, but okay, I'm going to approve this one. I'm going to put a note in here now that says, good to go. And then I'm going to enter it, and the action, come on, oh, add the note. You have to add the note, sorry. And now there it is, the time, date, and down to the millisecond by the admin person. It's good to go. So if I was logged in as the controller, it would actually say controller, whatever that person's name is. And so now I can approve it. And the next step it's going to go is to the next person in line. And based on everything, it's going to be step ready to complete. So if we were to complete it from here, if we were to do it one more time, it would complete the process. That's our three-way match accounts payable. I had said in the beginning, when we were talking about in that PowerPoint, we talked about workflow being workflow document packets. It's a question of workflow documents. It's not just accounts payable. And I have an example of an HR hire. And in this scenario, I have to highlight it. In this scenario, we got one document, one application, and it is in the prep. So the accounts payable clerk, right? It's not accounts payable. The HR clerk, he set this all up. He got from Scott, he got the name, or he got, Scott wants to hire somebody. Let me just go here. In this role here, Steve or Scott, I think it's Steve. Steve wants to hire somebody for his department. He's in charge of manufacturing. He wants to hire somebody for manufacturing. So he submitted all the paperwork, and then Steve here, he starts receiving documents. He's got not only the resume, he's got the drug screening. And again, we can look at all three of the documents together. Yes, he's got them all, and he says, okay, great, I'm ready to go on this. So I'm going to take an action, and I'm going to hire this guy. Now this is the guy, this is the clerk. He wants to hire the guy. He can say forward. He doesn't have permission. He can either approve or reject. And this is all built to fit your needs, right? If you don't need this, you don't have to have it. It's all malleable. It's all designed to fulfill your needs as a company. And so he says, I'm going to approve this guy. So he approves it. It's gone to the head of the department. And so he says, he looks it over, and he can look it over again. He can see if there's any notes. There's no notes. He can say, okay, I like this guy. If he tries to hire it, he again will find the same problem. So he wants to forward it. He says, yes, I like this. This will work for me. Now, anywhere along the steps, the next person to get it, in this case, it is Dan Jones. It was Tim. I always get Tim and Steve mixed up. Dan Jones is the head of HR. He's the only one that can hire. Now, he gets an email, and I have the email here. He gets an email from our system. And just for the sake of argument, I'm going to close down the workflow, the doc flow. I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to open it this time as if I was logging in, because I'm the guy who just got that. I'm Dan, and I just got that. So it is in my hands, and I can actually say, okay, I can look over the attachments like everybody else. I can look for any notes. I can take actions, and I can hire this person. And when I hire, it finishes it, and it disappears out of the system. That's our doc flow. So when you think about all this, all that we have here, I want to just bring this back up a second. There it is. When you think about all that we have, the image manager saves time because it automatically picks up documents. It automatically processes it. Doesn't care who scans it in. They just have to scan it into a folder. Once that folder, it'll pick up and start processing. Emails come in, specific email addresses and folders get picked up and processed automatically. So we're saving time and money because we're processing that data and moving that as into searchable information. That's time is saved, but we also take and make that searchable information. Like I searched across for 3 letters, PVC, and I was able to bring up a list of documents and find the one I want very quickly. That's the way that we help you with information management. And again, time management is someone's on the phone. You can send them give them the document they want instantaneously, or doggone near. That's what I have. That's how UnForm solves your problems, or can solve the problems of time and information management. Are there any questions? Hello?
Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan, it's Christy. It looks like we've got a couple of questions coming through. If you're good with me going ahead and reading them off.
Yes, please.
All right, so the first one we've got is, can Image Manager accommodate approval levels?
Absolutely. In fact, I apologize for not bringing that up. That's why in that, the doc flow that we were in, there was a controller, then there was an approver up between the controller. Let's see if I can bring that up again. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Wrong. I'll show you precisely what I'm talking about. Just have to get in there, building the indexes, and go down to 3-way match, and here. And in this situation, you see there was a controller, there was accounting this reject. That controller has if this person who's like the head of accounting, the head of the accounting department, say has a $500 or $1,000 approval, then once it hits here, it would drop down into here. You can set this up for any value you want. This is a $350,000. I'd want as many eyes on it and as many people responsible looking at it from a former business owner aspect. I would want to make sure that there was approvals at different levels. Yes, we can set the approval levels up. Again, it's all based on your needs and how you do business. Next question.
Great, thanks, Dan. The next one coming in is, are there limits to the number of doc flows? I'm assuming that means the number that can be set up or configured for different types.
No, I may have said that, but I'm not sure. But no, we have no restrictions on the amount of doc flows you have. Each one of these is a flow or stream, if you prefer. We have no limitations on that. Our limitations are on the named users. In this case, is for named users. So each person takes who is a named user has a license. So the answer is no.
All right, wonderful. And then our last question that's come in so far is, for Image Manager, do you need special scanners?
No, in fact, we encourage people to use multifunction devices. Ideally, you want a scanner that scans at least between 300 and 600 DPI, but almost every multifunction device on the market today will scan at that level. And you simply scan it as a PDF or as a TIFF or whatever you want to scan it as, and we'll process it accordingly. So you don't have to use special equipment. You probably have the scanner you need in your office right now.
that sounds perfect. No additional cost to buy anything.
Yeah, right.
Well, that looks like all the questions that have come in. I don't see any others in the chat or the Q&A bank. So that looks like it's it for questions.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming by. I'm impressed at how many people showed up. I'm going to be sending out an email that has this link in it, so you can review it or pass it on to your other people in your organizations. Again, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, in a little over a month and 2 days, at the in Dearborn, Michigan, at the at the Midwest User Group meeting, QAD User Group. It's a great, fun group. I like those people. I like all of you guys and gals. And look me up. I may have a ponytail, I may not. I have a COVID ponytail. I haven't decided whether I'm going to cut it off or not. But thank you very much. Have a great day. If there's no other questions, take care.
No others have come in. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.